What is good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Foxy. Welcome back to the Fox's Den. Get into another reaction. It is a beautiful new Thursday. We got a new episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, episode 5. Very, very excited for this episode. This season has fucking started on a strong note. Very strong note. I mean, goddamn, I kept on, I was in disbelief the last reaction, or maybe, the last two, because, well, honestly, just the past time that I watched it, because I watched the first episode before I went on vacation, and then when I got back, obviously, there had been, or when I started recording the other day, it was fucking, a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, something like that. We watched episodes 2 through 4 in succession. So after those couple episodes, after that last session of watching the show, dude, they went fucking in at the start of the season. I kept on thinking, we're only 3 episodes in. We're only 4 episodes in. What the fuck? It's just crazy, but we're still in this, sort of prequel stage of the show, or this season, where we're in the past with Gojo and Geto and when they were a duo and still going to Jujutsu High together. If I'm not mistaken, from what I've heard from the community and just kind of peeping around, no spoiler stuff or anything, but I think this episode is the last episode before we get back into the present. So this is the last episode within this prequel time setting, in the past. So if I had to guess, going off of that, this episode we're going to get some sort of, closure on everything that just went down. Also maybe a hint into how Gojo ended up recruiting or started mentoring Megumi, since we finally have gotten confirmation that Megumi was Toji's son. And Toji was an absolute badass of a fucking character. God damn, that dude is a menace. I love his character immensely. What a great, well-written, badass character that was very short-lived. Served its purpose so well. We get a peek into the past with this badass motherfucker, and we see his end met pretty quickly. Of course, to the hands of Gojo, once he finally figured out how to use the reversal curse technique, which unlocked red for him. And then also, since he had that, he was able to combine blue and red, which gives him purple. And we've seen him use that move in the first season towards the end of it against one of those curses that Itadori and Todo were fighting. I think that's his name, Todo. I keep on saying Todo. I could be wrong that that's his name, but you know what I'm talking about. So the whole culmination of all this has been lit as fuck, and being able to see Toji's character come to life and just meeting him, and then also seeing his demise, it happened very fast, and that character was just amazing. I completely fell in love with this character. Absolutely impeccable. But off of what we left off of, I'm assuming this episode, is going to be kind of the closure of what just went down, this event that we've seen in the past. And for the first time, at the end credit of last episode, we've seen for the first time Geto kind of have a change of perspective or look onto his friend Gojo. It's almost like he didn't recognize him, or he just knew immediately that something was up with him. And so this is the first time that we've seen his personality kind of change, or clench up in a way. And I'm assuming maybe we get some sort of actual information or some sort of next thing that happens in this episode, that we find out what really pushed him to leave Jujutsu High and the life that he's known thus far, and then puts him on the path that he's on now in the present. That's what I'm assuming, at least, because we finally get this first kind of look at him questioning what he's really doing. Is it right? And also, looking at Gojo and kind of not really knowing if that's the person that he's always known. So it's interesting to see him kind of clench up like that for the first time in the end credit of last episode. So that's why it makes me believe that we actually might get more of a conflict or argument between Gojo and Geto this episode, and see possibly how he actually ends up going into the direction that he goes in. I'm very curious to see that, and obviously, since apparently this is the last episode in the prequel, I wouldn't be surprised if we get that, and also just see how it actually all wraps up for this prequel, past time setting, and maybe sets us up. Maybe we get a peek into the present again this episode, or maybe it truly we're gonna have to wait until next week. But nonetheless, I'm very excited to get into this and see where we continue off on our journey in Jujutsu. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. If you guys enjoy it, please leave a like down below, comment, subscribe if you're new, Hit that notification bell so you know the next one's dropping. Let's get into it. Episode 5, Season 2, Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, we get an opening right away. Right away, baby. I ain't wasting no time with this episode. I like that. I like that already. I just gotta say, this is probably my favorite opening of the season so far. Like, in terms of other shows and anime, too. Like, this is probably my favorite one. This shit is so gas. 1 year later. Damn, it's already been a year since then. I mean, he's talking like usual, but just from his face already, he looks kind of empty. Minimal resource. So before, what was taking a lot out of him is now like he can do it infinitely. Right, and he's constantly fucking improving and yeah, for real. Like, that's what I'm saying. Look at him. You can just tell, like, he seems saddened or, like, kind of empty. So there started to be a gap between them in strength and also in physical distance. Like, they started working less together. And he kind of feels behind in terms of strength. Over and over the same thing. He probably got sick of this monotonous sort of lifestyle. Guess he doesn't really, at this time, he was lacking sort of a self-purpose, like what he should be doing for himself or what he even wants to do. It seems like these are words that he's trying to convince himself. Like, dude, look at his face, man. Damn. Seems he can't stop thinking about, yeah, the applause of that crowd cheering for the vessel's death. I'd feel bad, but yeah, I'll accept. Looks like he's either super tired from all this weight on his mind or he's been crying. Clearly. I wonder who asked that question before. Yeah? So wait, that blonde girl, she just asked the same question that Toto asked Itadori. So is this like Toto's like master or something? That'd be interesting. Special grade sorcerer. Ah. 結構いい線いくと思ったんだ。モデルケースもいたしね。モデルケース？君もよく知っている人さ。全員当時。
全員当時は呪力ゼロにもかかわらず五感で呪霊を認識できた。呪力を完全に捨て去ることで肉体は一線を画し、逆に呪いの体勢を得たんだよ彼は。
Wow, okay.
超人。負けたことは恥じなくていい。振られてしまってね。惜しい人を亡くしたよ。
Yo, this is intriguing as fuck, bro. I'm loving this.
私の今の本命は2だね。
Okay, so a goal of trying to make humanity possible of controlling their cursed energy. Because the average human doesn't know how to do that. Because they have control of it. So it rarely leaks out of them because they have that control of it. Whereas non-sorcerers, something could happen emotionally or something traumatic where it leaks out of them and they can't control it. And that's what creates cursed spirits. I'm not crazy enough to do that. Yeah, that's what's been weighing on his mind so much, is like he's trying to convince himself that it's part of a sorcerer to protect non-sorcerers, but he's starting to disagree with that slowly but surely after he witnessed what he witnessed. You hear the clapping in the background? So this is where he got some really key insight and advice. Fellow special grades. Yeah, they're all special grade sorcerers. Wow, okay, so they already don't need to worry about the vessel that just perished, but still kind of sucks because they were getting along with her so well. She still didn't get the answer out of him about what type of girl he likes. Is this like a morgue? This is Nanami. Is that Haburai? Whatever his name was? Yeah, the young guy. See, he's feeling the anticipation, like, of something that, like, is out of your control. Like, you can't. I guess, like, the inevitable path that they're going down if they keep on doing things the way that they're doing. Like, he feels the necessity to change something and needs to choose which actual path he wants to go down. Damn, our own parents fucking talking about, yeah, we should have killed you guys. So, yep, this is where he finally decided this is the path that he chose. Sentenced to death. Bro, he killed his parents too? Those were his parents? Or his parents were in the same village? Like he's from that village? Bro, nah, yeah, that's crazy. But he made the decision. So did he take that advice that he got, or that insight from that lady, and choose his own path? Because I was thinking the two options that she mentioned, either getting rid of cursed energy or making all humans able to control their cursed energy. Cool, that's true, but I was already thinking of a third one what if you just got rid of humanity? I mean, it seems crazy, right? But I don't know.
意味わかんねえ。あ、五条？ゲトいたよ。そう、新宿。やだよ、殺されたくないもん。
だから術師以外殺すってか。親も。親だけ特別というわけにはいかないだろう。それにもう私の家族はあの人たちだけじゃない。息もしねえことをせこせこやんの意味ねえっつんだよ。
So he's going the route of number 2, but if people aren't willing to, because there's, as you can see, the parents with those 2 kids, for example, they didn't even want their, like, they were disgusted by sorcery, jujutsu sorcery. So they, like, if you're against that, all right, then you're gonna die. I'm gonna kill you. With all the people walking by too, like, bro, they do such a good job of this show. Like, the visuals and everything is just amazing. The scenery. He was about to do something. All the people are in the way. They've officially separated their paths.
先生、俺強いよね。生意気にもな。でも、俺だけ強くてもダメらしいよ。
Those are the 2 girls that he saved.
揃っているな。
各支部長、代表役員、会長、その他太客お揃いで。
それでは手短に。今この瞬間からこの団体は私のものです。
Many objected.
そうだ、そう、あなたです。さて、改めて、サンが嫌い、私に従い。それが私の選んだ本。
Yo, nah, this motherfucker said, I'm going down this path whether you like it or not. Oh my god, bro. Yep, and sure enough, yep. This is where we see Gojo meet Megumi for the first time. Damn, that is crazy, bro. Geto is, damn. He finally made his decision, and now we see how he went down this path, and he is determined to go down it. Took over that organization. You don't agree with me? You're dead. Holy shit.
別にあいつがどこで何してようと興味ない。何年も会ってないから顔も覚えてない。今ので話は大体分かった。
He really a first. He has a great understanding of his life dynamic and the situation around him. Dealing with trauma and not a normal childhood forces you to grow up quickly. Understand real world problems.
ない。100%ない。それは断言できる。あとは任せなさい。でもめぐみくんには多少無理してもらうかも。強くなってよ。僕に置いていかれないくらい。
Strong enough to keep up with me. Damn, what a fucking challenge that is. 2018, October 19th. Back to the present. That's what he was. That's such a dope transition. He like woke up as if we woke up from the past, like he was dreaming all of that, and that's how we got introduced to all that info of the past. Like, wow, man. That was executed perfectly. These first 5 episodes were stunning. Absolutely amazing. Completely sets the tone for the season and gets all that background information for us in an amazing, efficient manner. I mean, and mind you, visually pleasing manner. Holy shit. That shit was crazy. But damn, man. Wow. What a story. This shit is amazing, bro. I love this. Alrighty, guys. What another amazing episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. That was splendid, man. That I couldn't think of a better way for them to wrap that up. Pretty much everything that I was thinking was going to happen pretty much happened, in terms of seeing Geto, you know, fall into this direction that he started to go down, and what ultimately ended up to how he is now in the present timeline, to how we're used to seeing him, you know what I'm saying, like on the other side, or opposing views, if you want to say. And then also eventually seeing towards all the way to the end of the episode how Gojo ended up meeting Megumi and, you know, kind of being his mentor, so to speak. I mean, wow, man, what an episode. But not only this episode, but what an introduction to the season. Like, these first 5 episodes, like, really, like, they executed it perfectly, in my opinion. Like, it was so well done, like, from beginning to now, you know what I'm saying? Like, from the first 4 episodes, which was directly pretty much focused on this new character. You know, it's kind of weird to say new since it's in the past of this time of this universe, but you know, this new character that we have never met yet, which was Toji, Megumi's father, and how brolic of a motherfucker that dude is, or dude was. I mean, so much so, actually defeated, or, you know, pushed Gojo to his absolute limits and made Gojo who he is today. Like, that motherfucker literally, nah, that's wild to say. That's a wild sentence. Toji made Gojo, bro. Like, he literally made him. If Gojo never got pushed that far, which who knows who else would actually have been able to do that. I mean, shit, I don't think so, because the way that this tall blonde lady that came to talk to Geto was talking about Toji, you know, she literally called him superhuman because he made a heavenly pact, and very rarely does it happen. Like, does a heavenly pact make, you know, situation like that make someone's cursed energy go all the way down to 0? So he literally had 0 cursed energy and was still able to detect curses or cursed spirits with his regular 5 senses, and everything else combined in between. I mean, we saw him in action, bro. Like, if that doesn't, like, make you love that character, like Toji, like, I don't know what will. Like, he is an instant fan favorite, in my opinion, because that motherfucker was brolic, and he literally made Gojo, bro. Like, he pushed Gojo to his limits that made Gojo the way he is today, made him actually be able to achieve using the reverse curse technique for the first time, which opened up way more avenues for him, obviously, as you can see, because ever since that fight, as we got into this episode, the beginning of the episode was pretty much just focusing on Geto kind of realizing that he was in this funk, and him kind of declining mentally in terms of, like, what he wants to do for himself, like his own self-purpose, his own goal, and him constantly, or not constantly, but him in this moment, like in these recent moments ever since Gojo changed, constantly thinking about and questioning if what he's told himself and what he's thought until now is truly right, which was Jujutsu sorcerers live to protect non-sorcerers. Basically, that's the gist of it, right? Like, that's what he's been telling himself for this long, and that's why you kept on seeing it in quotations of him saying that to himself, even throughout this episode. But it was literally the first, like, scene of the first episode, too. That's, like, what the show started with. Kind of as, like, a foreshadowing of, like, this is, you know, this has been troubling Geto for a while, ever since he saw Gojo change. And as we saw, like, right in the beginning of the episode, a year had passed since they lost the star vessel Amanai, and Gojo defeated Toji. So Gojo had some time to grasp these new avenues of strength and whatnot after unlocking the reverse curse technique. So he had time to improve, he had time to test things out, and he still was constantly testing things out. Like, he was explaining how he can pretty much effortlessly use Limitless now and pretty much keep his technique active 100% with minimal resources, whereas before it took a lot out of him. He wasn't sleeping, this and that, blah blah blah, you know what I'm saying? Which is crazy to think about, because literally at the end of the episode, he's sleeping, and Itadori's like, oh wow, Gojo Sensei even sleeps. So like, you see how they connect everything together? Like, this is what I'm talking about. It's only been 5 episodes, and they've executed everything pretty perfectly. And that goes to all the credit towards the author, in my opinion, because the storytelling is exquisite. It's just the amount of the adaptation and how visually pleasing and how well they adapt that for screen view is what's on the studio. And I think both the author and the studio, obviously Mappa is the one that's working on this. Mappa is had an amazing track record with other shows and with the first season of this show. I mean, they're amazing. They've adapted this really well, but I think the author, in terms of progressing the story and how they connect everything, like that little thing like that with Gojo sleeping, and then at the end of the episode, Itadori's like, oh wow, Gojo even sleeps. Like, before, you know, a couple episodes ago, whenever they were protecting Amanai, he was on alert 24/7. He could not sleep because that's how much resources it took to keep his technique active. You know what I'm saying? So even that little thing, like that connection, like, I mean, damn, it's so well done. So that's where we were at in the beginning of the episode, him kind of explaining like how minimal resources it takes to be able to use his technique now. He can pretty much keep it active perpetually, he said in his own words, which basically means he can always have it on, and it doesn't really take as much out of him as it used to, which, you know, just goes to show how much he improved by achieving this reverse curse technique thanks to fighting someone as great as Toji. And Geto's obviously along for the ride with all this, and he's been kind of just in the like flow of life, the same monotonous thing over and over again. And then also, not only did Gojo kind of distance himself, not on purpose, but distance himself from Geto because of how much stronger he got. Like, he's literally the strongest now. Geto said it himself. So there was a distance there in terms of strength, but also physically, because they started working on less and less missions, because Gojo, obviously, since he's stronger now, he can go take care of this mission by himself. He can go take care of this mission by himself. So Geto was taking care of this mission by himself and this mission by himself. So they weren't, you know, there wasn't really a duo ship like there was before, where they together were the strongest. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another connection. Whereas before, a couple episodes ago, they kept on saying like, yeah, we are the strongest. You know what I'm saying? So we'll be fine. You know, they always relied on each other. But ever since Gojo had that change and achieved his reverse curse technique and defeated Toji, that's that moment in the end credit of last episode that Geto noticed, like, holy shit, he's left me behind. He's stronger than me now. He's the strongest. We're not the strongest anymore. There's no duo. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was kind of detrimental to him and kind of traumatic in a way. On top of him starting to question, or maybe that's what made him start to question what he has told himself all this time, what he thought was right. Is that really right? You know what I'm saying? So that was all the connections and stuff, like, overall in this episode, and the first, up till now, the first 5 episodes has been amazing. So that was where we were at in the beginning of this episode, was Geto, or Geto kind of seeing him and noticing right off the bat that he's kind of depressed and kind of lost, as Gojo is on the top of his life and stronger than ever. Gojo's already talking about, like, he was already improving within that year, but he was already talking about things that he's capable of doing now in the present that he hadn't done yet, but he thought should be possible and was able to test out. And eventually did so, probably, you know, like kind of long-range teleportation, and there was something else that he mentioned that he's already able to do as well, which I can't remember what it was, but it was something that he's already capable of doing. So that was really cool to see the ins and outs of that, and see how much stronger he got, and then also Geto's like kind of frustration. And then that's when we got into the scene where he was, you know, in the shower, and the clapping is going on from the fucking, you know, that event that he saw with Gojo saving Amanai, or not saving, but like retrieving her corpse, and those non-sorcerers that is part of that Star religious group clapping their asses off for her death because they don't agree with Jujutsu sorcery. You know what I'm saying? And they see it as like something disgusting, like something that, you know, kind of forbidden type thing, you know what I'm saying? And they treat people like that with the same disgust, even though if, like, you just taught them, if someone knew how to teach them how to control something like that, there wouldn't be a problem, and you wouldn't have to, like, you shouldn't be just, like, scrutinizing your kids or somebody for them not knowing how to control. It's out of their control. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about like teaching them with the right resources how to control that stuff, and they'll be fine. And you won't have to take these extremes, like saying to kill your children and this and that, like how he was overhearing whenever these kids were locked up and shit, like in his home village or whatever, and kind of that's where he actually decided to go down this path. But he kind of got this insight from after he got out of the shower. He was talking to his junior, which was that younger kid that I said kind of looked like Itadori, which I think I'd already called that I would assume he was going to die, because we hadn't seen him in the present. So I was like, okay, this doesn't look good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cool, new character. Haven't seen him before, but he's younger than all of the characters that are currently in the present. You know what I'm saying? Gojo, Nanami, like this is a younger kid than them in the past. So like he should be kind of like one of our seniors now in the present, but we've never seen him before. So, you know, put two and two together. Yeah, he's probably dead. And sure enough, you know, he did end up dying on his own mission, I think, which, you know, was kind of like a lack of who should really be going, because I think he was a second grade sorcerer and it was meant for like a first grade or something. Like Nanami was exclaiming his frustration as they were like looking at his dead body and whatnot. So that was later in the episode, but he had a conversation with him, and I think kind of asked, like, you know, do you really, do you see yourself still being a Jujutsu sorcerer in the future, or something along the lines of that? And the kid was basically just like, well, if I can put my all into something, like, I feel like that's something great, and I love to do something like that. So like he doesn't think too deeply about things, but he likes to give it everything he's all. And Geto was just like, oh, I see, okay, cool. And then this lady comes up, this tall blonde woman, and immediately asks, like, hey, what woman is your type? And I was like, oh, I've heard that question before. So if I had to guess, she's like Toto's mentor, which I think we might have gotten a little clip of Toto being young and meeting some blonde lady like that. So if I had to guess, yes, that is his mentor or whatever, but we're seeing her like in the flesh for the first time, like actually having a conversation with somebody. And this is where she sits down and talks to Geto and gives her kind of own views on things with Jujutsu High, because from what like rumors of hearing about this person, this blonde lady, she's a special grade sorcerer too, so she's obviously very strong. Just like Gojo, just like Geto, like she's sort of on the same level as them, right? And obviously, I mean, she's taught Toto, which is a fucking brawlic motherfucker too. So she's definitely got the accolades, but from her speaking, she doesn't agree with Jujutsu High's politics. Just from the rumors that Geto was mentioning, like, oh, you never accept missions, you're just abroad all the time, you're doing this, you know, whatever. Those are rumors, but that's because she doesn't agree with Jujutsu High's politics. So she's not acting out, but she's effectively like, no, I'm not going to do this because I don't agree with your guys' point of views. Like, you are basically, what she was saying is they're curing symptoms, but she wants to cure the cause, basically. So to get rid of cursed spirits, essentially, you either have to get rid of cursed energy altogether, which I guess that first one would be wiping out humanity, which doesn't make any sense because obviously, like, we're trying to all live on this planet. Like, what? That's just literally mass genocide. So she thought that one was possible, but it ended up not being, or something like that. And then the second one was teaching everyone Jujutsu sorcery, or at least to the very basic level, to be able to control your cursed energy, because that's why none of the Jujutsu sorcerers really become cursed spirits at all, because unless they choose to upon their death of old age or whatever, you know, it's up to them. But most don't just become a cursed spirit because they constantly have their cursed energy well under control in like a flow state, you know what I'm saying? So they have the control so that it doesn't leak out, whereas an average human, a non-sorcerer, it just leaks out maybe from some sort of traumatic event, or your emotions are high, stuff like that, where they don't know any better. Just like, okay, the prime example is a kid, like these two kids that Geto was dealing with, you know what I'm saying? Like, the parents are behind him fucking talking shit, like, I knew we shouldn't have fucking let you live, we should have killed you when you guys were born, or some crazy shit like that, right? Like some unhinged, stupid, fucking ignorant remarks. And ultimately, that's what made him do what he did. But something like that, like they looked at their kids with disgust when really they could have hired somebody. If you don't know yourself, or if you really did care about your fucking kids, you would learn how to control your own cursed energy, and then you could teach them, sort of thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's where the second option seems more viable, where you either have to teach people how to control their cursed energy all across the board. That way there will be no cursed spirits. But then there's this constant dilemma and dynamic between people like these parents that see sorcery or jujutsu sorcery or cursed energy or whatever as something vile, disgusting, forbidden. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they treated their kids like that, which creates this terrible dynamic where Geto has finally reached a breaking point where he's like, you know what? I am going down this path, but I will show no mercy to anyone who is ignorant enough, who thinks they don't need jujutsu sorcery. Basically is what I'm getting from all this, and seeing how he walked down this path and went in the direction that he did, because he got tired of them talking shit to those kids, saved those 2 kids, and killed everybody in that fucking village, including his parents, apparently. I didn't know that was his home village, but that's what the principal said once he told Gojo all this information. And so that just goes to show, like, Geto finally reached a breaking point. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, yeah, that's some good advice that I got from that blonde lady about, like, trying to teach. But some people aren't going to be down with that. And if they're not down with that, fine. You can kick rocks in the afterlife, basically. Like, he's not wasting no time. So it kind of gives you a new respect for Geto, because he's trying to change things. And he has a different view on things politically with Jujutsu High, and just like the cursed energy, like just like the ethics of it all. I think he just went down a super extreme version of it, because he's not showing any mercy to people that decide they don't need cursed energy or stay ignorant, which he got fed up with. So it gives me a new respect for him, and you understand him more as a character on why he's doing the things that he's doing. It's just, you know, who's really going to come out on top with which viewpoint is going to be set in stone still. Is Jujutsu High and Gojo and all of them still going to be in control and keep those things going? Or is Geto going to achieve what he wants to achieve, vice versa? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's 2 very opposing views, and both of them are sort of respectable. You know what I'm saying? Even though Geto's is very extreme. Like, you just understand his character better, which I really appreciate. This prequel, or, you know, past timeline. Like, these 5 episodes were amazing. So getting all that was crazy to see and actually witness. And then eventually seeing him go to the Star Religious group, and I guess he bought them out or something or whatever, or just needed money. So this is why he took over the group. But he laid things straight when he went up on that stage. And then there's just a fucking black screen with many objected. Okay, a lot of people didn't agree with what he was saying. And then it just cuts back, and there's just blood everywhere. He's like, I'm gonna say it one more fucking time if you didn't hear me. This is what we're doing. And like, bro, nah, that was wild. That was wild. Like, that just goes to show how determined he is, and how fed up with he got with what he was thinking before, what he thought was right, but something was missing. You know what I'm saying? And how he started to despise non-sorcerers. So that just goes to show how fed up he got. I mean, damn. And then shortly after that, we get, you know, Gojo actually talking to Megumi, and Megumi not really caring about his father, but sort of getting the gist about what Gojo was saying. So he, you know, it seems Megumi already knows that Gojo was the one that took out his father. But he didn't really have any, I guess, emotions, or couldn't even remember really what his father looked like, because his father wasn't there for him. Probably for a good reason, you know what I'm saying? Like, his father was trying to keep him out of whatever business he was in or whatever. But obviously, as a kid, you want your parent, right? So, like, he has sort of a non-emotional attachment there, where he's very aware of his surroundings and his family dynamic and just the world in general. And that kind of forces you to grow up quickly, because as Gojo said, he was looking at him like, are you really a first grader? Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was kind of surprised about how, like, he deduced everything in the way he thinks as a fucking, like, 6-7-year-old kid. So very interesting to see their first encounter. And then that's where Gojo basically was like, you know, I'm gonna need you, you know, just, you're fine the way you are now, but, you know, I'm gonna need you to get stronger to keep up with me. You know what I'm saying? Strong enough to keep up with me. Like, bro, that was so cool to see. Like these first 5 episodes were amazing. Seeing the past timeline and really getting in the meats of that, and it was great, man. It was really good. And then right after that, we get back into the present timeline as like it's kind of like as we're waking up, so to speak, like the audience as well as Gojo. He's waking up and like we're hearing, you know, our familiar characters' voices. Megumi, whatever her name is, starts with an N. I can't remember what her name is. And then Itadori, and then, you know, him kind of like blurry at first as he's waking up, like seeing who's in front of him, and then again like the connection, like Itadori like saying like, oh, wow, Gojo Sensei even sleeps, and then, you know, he kind of just laughs as he gets up, and like we're seeing their funny ass character dynamic as a group together already, and he kind of just laughs as he gets up, and, you know, Megumi's like, what is it? And, you know, he's like, oh, nothing. Like he just kind of laughs as he get up, almost as if like, you know, that whole thing that we just saw throughout these 5 episodes was him dreaming about that, and that's how we got that information. I mean, just like, bro, amazing. So well done. You gotta respect it. Like, that is just amazing, bro. So well done. So now I'm excited. I'm even more excited to keep fucking watching this shit, bro. Like, those first 5 episodes were immaculate and very efficient for the information that we got in terms of the past. And now we're moving forward again in the present. So I cannot wait for next episode. What an amazing reintroduction to Jujutsu Kaisen with these first 5 episodes in this new season, bro. Absolutely impeccable. Loved it. Loved every second. So that's going to do it for me. We got to wait another week for the next episode. But if you guys enjoyed this reaction, please leave a like down below, comment, subscribe for new, and hit that notification bell so you know when the next one's dropping. I'll see you on the next one. Y'all be good. Deuces.